Hi everyone, and welcome back to 826 New Orleans Writing Channel. Just to remind you, my name is Miss Kelsey, and I'm the program manager at 826 New Orleans. I run the after-school program for first through fourth graders. So today we are going to continue our lessons around writing a fantasy story. If you followed along, you know that we've read a fantasy book, right? And we talked about different elements of fantasy. And if you remember, we talked a lot about how if fantasy is about using your imagination and creating worlds that may not exist, or characters and animals that talk that might not exist in our real world. And we then talked about some brainstorming, right? So we brainstormed some of our characters that we might want. We brainstormed some worlds that we might want to see. And we also talked about different problems, right? Or goals that might happen in our story. So today we are going to pick one of our sections in our brainstorming and we're going to expand on that. So we are going to talk about creating a magical world. So in our stories, we want to have a setting, right? So when we read books, usually it takes place in somewhere. And the last place, the book we read took place in the Bubble Land, right? So remember, we went into this monster's world and there were bubbles attacking, okay? So today we are going to create our own magical worlds. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to our brainstorming. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to look at our brainstorm. So we did some characters, but right now we're going to pick setting. So I think I'm feeling like I want to do City Park, which is a real place, right? So if you're not living in New Orleans, you might not know this, but City Park is a really big park that is located in the city of New Orleans. So I'm going to pick City Park, but then I also want my characters to go to a different land. So we are going to pick, I think I'm going to go with Sweetland because I always have a sweet tooth. Matter of fact, I had some cake yesterday. I did some baking. So we're going to go to Sweetland. Now, a really cool part is that we can have two different worlds. So you probably can't see me, I'm small, but right now we're gonna brainstorm two different worlds. But before we do that, I also want to give you guys just a little bit of a visual or some examples of different worlds. So I'm gonna stop sharing. So I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, but it's a really cool show on Cartoon Network called Steven Universe. And something really cool about Steven Universe is it exists on the world as we know it, right? So the world that we are told is real life, okay? But then also Steven travels to all of these different worlds, and there's portals that takes him to these different worlds. So I'm going to share my screen again. And we are going to look at a few different worlds. So in this one, and obviously these are very detailed, and beautiful, please send us your drawings. But we are going to draw different worlds. So this one is, I see a light pink background, which I really like, and then there's floating rocks. I don't know places with floating rocks, but there might be some places with floating rocks as we know it. But I see a lot of different floating rocks. I see staircase winding around the floating rocks. So maybe you need to fly to get to this world, right? So this is one world that Steven has been to. Then we have this one, which looks like they're in caves. Looks like some also be a portal to get to this place, right? And I'd imagine it looks like there might be crystals here that are really making it beautifully purple and pink, right? So these are two different worlds. Then though, another cool part is that Steven usually jumps through portals. So we might be able to create, right, different portals for our characters to go through. And look at this, there's a pink lion. I love it, right? This show is so fantastical. If you haven't seen it and you're allowed to see TV, it's a really great kid show on Cartoon Network. So right, then we've got this pink lion that Steven is on. So that's a really cool character, okay? So now that we've looked at a few examples, I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to create our own worlds. So let's see. Hopefully you can see. So So to start, we're going to pick our first world. So number 1, I'm going to label it City Park. And number 2, we're going to go to Sweet Land. So City Park. So first when we do this, we want to close our eyes and we really want to think about and visualize, right? So we want to see the place that we're creating, that we're eventually going to create with words. Ooh, so I know at City Park, some of my favorite spots are the spots with not a lot of people. There's a lot of grass and open land for me to just run around or sit and draw and read. So I'm gonna do City Park. And so first I'm gonna create some grass. This is a fun technique I like to do. I like to use 2 markers at a time because we can do what we want when we're doing fantasy. So I'm gonna create some grass. Now, if you don't have colored markers or crayons or colored pencils, you can always just use a pen or pencil, right? So it doesn't have to have color. But so first I've created this grass. Now I'm noticing on my screen that it's backwards. I'm hoping that as we record and when I upload this video, it'll frame and you guys will be able to see this. So I've got some grass. Now I personally love trees because 1, I like to climb trees and I like to just sit on them for the shade. So I'm going to create some roots for my tree. Ooh, I'm going to make a little branch. Yeah, I'm going to put a branch here because we need something to climb, right? And then I have my branches up here. And then what do trees usually have? Like right now, it's very beautiful out. And so I'm going to put some leaves. And I'm going to try to make it as detailed as I possibly can. Now, what else is there? You know, sometimes I remember last time I was there, I was very annoyed because there were spiders coming down and I was scared. So I'm going to create a little bit of a spider web. Got my spider web. And then a spider, which has, let's see, do spiders have 8 legs or 6 legs? I think 8. So we're going to do 8 legs. But they also, something that I really love seeing are butterflies. So I'm going to try to draw a butterfly too. I don't know, maybe these butterflies might end up talking. So now I've got a good little visual of the park. Another thing is, part of city parks has, like there's water. It's very swampy. So I'm going to draw a pool of water. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm going to do some more grass around. So remember, right, usually it's very full with grass all the way. It's grassy. So I like it, y'all. I got a tree, I got a lake, but you know what? If you looked at this, you might not know that right away. So a really important thing, especially when we're beginning to write, right? So when we are in those first grades at elementary school, it's really good to label our pictures. So I'm going to label them, and I'm going to say grass, grass, G-R-A, grass, S-S. Then I'm going to label this, right, tree. Tree is a very difficult word because if we're going to say the sounds, right, it almost sounds like the sounds like that CH sound, right? So, but it's not, it's really a T. So we're going to write tree. We're going to write T, tree. We're going to do R and then E, E. So tree. Now here, I have a spider and a spider web. So I'm going to write spider and spider web. And then we have a little body of water, right? So I'm going to write, because I'm not sure exactly what to call it, I'm just going to write water because that's what I know for now. water. Okay, so we've got a lot of things going on, right? So we try to use as much detail as we can and label our picture, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is, since I'm gonna focus on one land, we're gonna write some words to describe, right? So maybe some of you have heard of the word of an adjective. Does anybody, I wish there were kids here to answer. What does it know? What does it mean to have an adjective, right? So what is an adjective? An adjective is a word that describes, right, other words and places. So we are going to describe City Park. So already I know that it's very green, very green. I know that there is a lot of grass. There's different bodies of water. So I'm gonna write different bodies of water. Let's see, what else do we see? Oh, there's a lot of trees. Oh, there's different insects and animals. And animals. And more specifically, we have spiders and butterflies. Now, I personally think that City Park is just very beautiful. So I'm gonna write beautiful. That's a hard word. B-E-A-U-U-T-T-I, beautiful. F-F-U-L. So it's very beautiful. Now we might also think, like, what do we hear? So personally, in the spots that I go to, it's usually pretty quiet. Sometimes I can hear people playing soccer, actually, I think it's the Pan American Stadium. But usually it's quiet, but I can hear the bugs and the birds. So we might write what it sounds like. So quiet, but see, sometimes I mess up. I can hear the animals like birds. So now I've got a good amount of stuff here, and I might add stuff more later, right? But this is a really good start. So now I'm going to put on my imagination cap, and I'm going to go to Sweetland. Because as of right now, I have no idea what Sweetland is like, because I've never heard of Sweetland, right? So I know that I like sweets, and I know that I like water, because I like to swim. So how can I put those together? So you know what? I like lollipops. So first, I'm going to draw a lollipop. I'm going to draw a pink swirl lollipop. And maybe they could be like lollipop trees. I'm going to make, ooh, look, I'm going to make it like have a tree, like trees. So it's going to have roots. Maybe it's like, ooh, maybe it's like a big, huge lollipop flower. Ooh. You guys, that picture I showed you, I love the idea of floating things. So maybe, ooh, I'm going to create floating rock candy. So I'm going to create like pop rocks, but big. So there's going to be floating rocks. I love that. You know what? I'm going to draw some more lollipops. And then I think I'm going to draw some type of body of water. I'm going to use green for my body of water. So I'm going to draw some water. There's got to be stuff surrounding the water. Maybe the grass will be edible Laffy Taffy. I'm gonna do green. People won't know this, but this is edible stuff. And what does edible mean? Edible means that we can eat it. Ooh, yeah. So I'm gonna remember I'm trying to draw as many details as I can. Oh yeah, you know what I just thought of? Cotton candy clouds. So we're gonna draw some cotton candy clouds. Oops. This marker isn't very visible. Let's see, let's pick a different color. So I'm gonna do cotton candy clouds. Ooh, so we have a lot, y'all. So now I think it's really important that we label it. So we have cotton candy clouds. We have lollipop trees. I'm gonna label both of them. We have floating rock candy. And we also have Laffy, no, it's not Laffy, Laffy Taffy grass. And then we also have a body of water here. Ooh, I really could use some ideas right now, some help on if this should be edible or not. For now, we're just gonna say green, ooh, you know what? Green hot fudge water. Okay, so now that we've drawn a lot, right? We have a lot of details and color. Now we're gonna write some words like we did here. So already looking at it, I know that this world is gonna be very colorful. So there's gonna be a lot of vibrant, which means very bright colors. So let's write bright and colorful. You know what? And a lot of this stuff we can eat. So I'm going to write that a lot of the stuff is edible. So, right, edible means we can eat things. So we're going to write edible. I'm going to also write that there's floating rocks. You know what? In my magical world, I think Sweetland is very sweet. So we're going to say sweet and sugary. And then we're going to write that there's lollipop trees. So lollipop trees. And similarly, we might think, what does it sound like? So I'm not quite sure, but I get to decide, right? I'm going to say that it's very loud because there's a lot of different people trying to eat everything. So maybe it's loud, right? And then, you know what? I'm going to describe it as a fun place. I think Sweetland is going to be a fun place. Fun. I like this. You know what I didn't think about in each of the places is the sky. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to draw. And what color should the sky be? I think we're going to have a yellow sky because yellow makes me happy. So we're going to draw yellow. Going to be a yellow sky. So remember, right, when the sky, we like to fill in all the spots. Because, right, the sky isn't just existing at the top, but it really fills in all of our area when we draw. So as much as we can. So it has a yellow sky. I'm going to write it here. Yellow sky. And just in general, it's a fun place. Right? It's fun. It's a joyful place. Joyful. Right? Ooh, what about the temperature of Sweetland? You know what? Kind of like California, which is where I'm from. I'm going to say it's always nice 70 degrees. So it's always the perfect weather. So we're going to write, because that's what I want. We're going to write perfect weather. But obviously, perfect weather might look different, right, for other people. So some people really like the humidity and heat. But I'm going to say perfect weather at 70 degrees. Right? So we now have two different worlds, which I am so excited to write my story next. Now, I want you guys to create your worlds. You might have one, you might have two, maybe you create three, right? So I cannot wait to see what you guys create, right? Get really creative. Think about all the different colors you might see in your places, all of the different details, right? And there's no right or wrong place. You can create whatever place you want to create, right? So I chose City Park because it's a place here that I love, and I think there might be some secret portals. I really do get to certain places, and I know that those animals talk to me, right? And then I know that my characters are going to also go to Sweetland, right? Because I love sugar and I love sweetness, and so they're going to travel to Sweetland. So we're going to draw our pictures and label them, right? Remember to label. And then you're going to also write whatever words you can write. And remember, if you don't know how to spell a word, that's okay. Write all the sounds you hear and then circle it, and you can always go back to it. The spelling is not that important when we're planning, right? It's okay. You just want to get all your ideas out. So remember, if you do write something or draw something, you could just send us a drawing. You can send it to us on Instagram at 826 New Orleans, or you can email us at hello. So hello, you know what? I'm gonna write down. Hello at 826 New Orleans.org. So you can also email us a picture or the writing of it, or you can DM us on Instagram at 826neworleans.com. It was awesome being here with you, and I cannot wait till next week when we talk about our characters in depth.